wherever you are catching the show live from your Mosoka. My name is Denis Oringi, and this is KOKOLIRIKO Live. I am here to give you a breath of every information that you need to know. You have to know that it is Thursday, that is 22nd of June 2023, and it is KOKOLIRIKO Live on Westnile Television. We are coming to you live from the broadcast house of Westnile Television right here on plot 39A, Weatherhead Park Lane here in Arua City, Westnile Sub-Region, Northern Uganda, Africa, and the whole world. A very great morning to you. I do appreciate you very much for joining me this morning. We do apologize that yesterday we were not able to bring to you what you needed to know. We do apologize because of some technical glitch here and there, and so it has been sorted, and that's why I'm coming to you loud and clear right here from the broadcast house of Westnile Television. I am here to give you every local stories that you want to know, and I will be able to really dive into some of those issues that you need to know right here on Westnile Television. All right, what are some of the issues that you need to know? I think let's get to some of the local stories that we have for you right this morning. You need to know that partners working in Rhino Camp refugee settlement in Madiokolo district have been urged to embrace Paris development model strategy government of Uganda is using if the refugees are to move away from depending on the food and aid and other supports being extended to them. This appeal was made by Member of Parliament for Lower Madiokolo District, Afidra Ronald, during the World Refugee Day celebration, which is an annual event celebration on every 20th of June, every 20th of June, every 20th of June. I beg to really be corrected right there. Let's have more on that report.
Refugees living in Eden 2 zone in Rhino Camp refugee settlement in Madiokolo district, together with partners, yesterday joined the rest of the world in celebrating the World Refugee Day. World Refugee Day is an international day organized every year on 20th June by the United Nations. Some of the refugees who turned up for the celebration confirmed that the day is worth celebrating.
It's really an indication that it's chasing out some stresses that has happened all during those days. So it can make somebody at least to think of the future, that in the nearest future things might be okay.
We who are from South Sudan, it is not the first time that Uganda have hosted refugees. I'm sure, like myself, I've been now here for almost twice. We have been here since 1993 or 94, and also in 2016 we have also been hosted here.
This day celebration to me is worth celebrated. Why? Because it shows me as a refugee why important I am to be part of this celebration. And as the theme of today is telling us that hope away from home and also think of getting integrated within the community, it is now giving me a picture of how I and other colleagues, refugees, will be integrated, will be having that hope of being away from their country, despite the fact that still things are getting worse in our country.
However, the refugees say that their cry is to go back to their home country, and they appeal to the partners to continue with the advocacy.
As me, myself, and together with my colleagues, we are crying for our country, that at least if peace could come, such that we go home. Because home is home really. You are able to exercise whatever activity that you wanted to do.
I am requesting if the nation, the whole nation, are able at least to make peace to our country, so that we also stay in a country as like some of the other countries.
Currently, Rhino Camp refugee settlement alone hosts over 100,000 refugees, and according to the settlement commandant, Rhino Camp refugee settlement, there is need to focus on livelihood in order to address the social challenges in the settlement.
Having these 210 individuals, we should not take off from this podium without mentioning livelihood. How do we feed the 210? Is the food ration privatization or cuts in a simple term of my brothers and sisters? We need intensified means of survival. We should talk of livelihood.
RWC2 of Eden 2 challenges the partners to be truthful in what they are doing and urge the partners not to involve in corruption scandals.
Let me hope you are not part of the Iron Seed group also. Don't be like them. Please, I know there are some other things here are not good. The government, please, when you look at the road, to all these settlements, the road networks are poor for refugees. It ends up our women always give up on the road, not sitting at the health facility.
The development partners working in Rhino Camp refugee settlement amidst the challenges have committed themselves to provide all the necessary services to over 100,000 refugees living in the settlement.
The theme of today, Hope Away from Home, that we'll be able to deliver at least tangible action that will maybe bring hope, that will bring hope to you, and also not only within Uganda but also further when you return into your country.
The head of UNHCR, Arua sub-officers, assured the refugees that much as the food aid is being cut, they will try to identify the needy people and also engage the donors to see how the issue can be solved amicably.
In the coming months, because of food reduction, we promise to identify affected people and talk to our donors on what we can do to ease that burden. The chairperson of the refugee committee talked about the challenges. We'll listen to you. We will continue to discuss on what we can do. We promise you to act respectfully. We have meetings in the settlements, meeting at the district level. We'll address these challenges so that we set today as a day to celebrate having resolved some of those challenges.
The Member of Parliament for Lower Madi, Afidra Ronald, who was the guest of honor for the World Refugee Day celebration in Rhino Camp refugee settlement Madi Okolo, calls on the partners to use the parish development model strategy the government of the Republic of Uganda is using to address livelihood challenges.
Parishes, we have 100 million Uganda shillings per parish. I know it is a small money compared to the 43 operating partners, implementing partners having support in this sub-county. My appeal is, can we develop something like a parish development model among the implementing partners so that each refugee household has equally the 20 million per year that Ugandan household would want to make, so that equally the refugee population can make it. If Ugandans, as we are thriving for 100 million, so that each household makes more than 20 million per household per year, can UNHCR and partners, we modify so that we call it socio-economic transformation of the refugee household.
Uganda has received over 146,000 new arrivals from South Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo, and they continue to arrive each day. Denis Oringi, Westnile TV, Nile Coast.
All right, that is what we have for you in regards to the World Refugee Day that was celebrated on 20th of June 2023. And you have to know that it is an annual event that takes place worldwide. And Uganda being a refugee hosting country, hosting over 1.4 million refugees, the day is really paramount for the country, and that's why there were different celebrations that were really organized. The national celebration for the World Refugee Day was in Lamour district, where we also do have a great number of refugees right that side in actually sub-region, and so the different partners operating in a Rhino Camp refugee settlement thought it wise that it is important that they should really be able to have the celebration together with the refugees who are living in a Rhino Camp refugee settlement. You have to know that Rhino Camp refugee settlement is found in the two districts of Terego and district of Madiokolo, and majority of the refugees are in the district of Madiokolo, and that is why Madiokolo is one of the districts benefiting from the Dr. D projects that is being supervised by the Office of the Prime Minister, and you have to know that it is a project under the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, right there. And so IGAD is an organization that brings together the countries that are hosting refugees, and so the World Bank found it fit to really support these countries, and also the support should really trickle down to the districts that are hosting these refugees. And so we wish the refugees all the best. Hope away from home is the theme for this year's celebration, and the celebration is still on. And I know that some people, some districts are organizing theirs maybe today or tomorrow. We wish them well in the organization of the World Refugee Day right there. Away from that, let's go to the district of Kirandongo. Local leaders in Kirandongo district are demanding for immediate intervention by the government to construct modern bridge to curtail continuous accidents on the Karuma Bridge waterfalls. And this comes a day after a Sinotrack registration number UBE 405P rammed into Karuma Bridge with unknown occupants and overturned into the River Nile. Let's have more on that story.
Following Tuesday morning tragedy where a trailer with registration number UBE 505P Sinotrack rammed into Karuma Bridge with the unknown occupants, local leaders in Kiradongo district are demanding for immediate intervention by the government to construct modern bridge to curtail continuous accidents on the waterfalls. Eyewitnesses narrated how they saw the truck was being flown by a rapid running waterfall.
Wawoto mabele marashi pesa matushi bridge Karuma wabe tianu kari mwami wange dongo dar wabe winji pinmo kube wakinye yori nye wakuku atingu ni akene en wanga yori nye akumae agama lo kiran wangu motokari matar wabe mondo dongo monda be shigipi donginyo ni motokari ni size marokani charane ni ngore aneno kabi matar be mondo dongo shigipi anita lo kwanga yo pincha dokenda neno go pincha muneni kendo.
According to Chairperson Local Council 1 Karuma Cell, Uriema Joseph Lily, the regrettable incidents are putting residents into panic as the condition of the bridge, which connects two districts of Oyam and Kiradongo respectively, has become a death trap for travelers.
It is not the first time of today. Almost from the January up to date, we have lost more than 3 vehicles. Recently, in the month of April, also a big trailer with had logs inside also got an accident. And some of them, among the driver and the turnman, I don't know who has gone, but they lose life. And today also I've got the information when we are at the Barry site here in Dima, that the vehicle also got an accident. So far as I'm here now, I've got the information from our team of executive in the office that the vehicle got accident. And that's why we are also requesting government to assess the engineer to come and work earlier soon, because we are losing life day and night.
Meanwhile, Lino Ngompe, the area member of parliament, Kibanda North County, Kiradongo district, is optimistic that the construction of the new bridge will commence in the next financial year, 2023-2024.
About the issue of the bridge, because the incident, it always, every year, it always happens. So the government, but there was a program even for building a new bridge even. Because the way how they build the bridge of Karuma is different with the one of Pakwach. At least that one of Pakwach, it's somehow okay. But this one of ours here, maybe the contractor was different with the one who built that one for the Pakwach. So ours here is just like that. In case of any problem, we just entered inside because this support is very light.
Effort to get comments from police in Kiradongo district was futile as they were busy at the scene of crime. But reports from Kiradongo police indicate that 2 cases of accidents registered on the same bridge within 2 years.
Bridge where the incident has happened. This morning, the number of people who have died is not yet established according to reliable information got from this place. The vehicle from Kulu going to Kampala just rammed into this bridge and the number is not known. Even the bodies have not been returned and the vehicle is no longer there. For Westnile TV, Alfred Jawoko.
All right, thank you very much, Alfred Jawoko, for that report in regards to that is the Karuma Bridge. And you have to know that this is not the first time that the country is registering such nasty accident. In the past, we used to have buses plunging into the water. And I think it is upon the government of the Republic of Uganda. We have the members of parliament who hail from the north. I think they should be at the forefront of advocating for that bridge to be constructed to the bitumen standard, like the one that we have at Pakwash and also that is at Ginger. You have all seen how that bridge is, and it's not quite different from this one that connects the north and the other parts of this country, Uganda. And I believe that it will be, it will be the government of the Republic of Uganda to take really, sporadic, intervention to see that the construction of that bridge is really done. We cannot continue to have such bridge in the 21st century and also after 39 years of government being in power. And so why can't we have a better bridge that connects the people of the north? And you have to know that without that, then somebody has to go via that is via the district of that is via that is the national park, and you have to pay some money, and that is a para bridge, and it's only the rich people who are really using that particular bridge. The poor people are not being allowed to use that bridge because they don't have the money that they can really pay at para bridge. And so if we want to promote economic development for all, the equality we do talk about, let us have also those who don't have the money using that bridge, because they constructed that bridge using the taxpayers' money, and the taxpayers are going to pay heavily for the loan that was borrowed for the construction of a para bridge. Why do we only have the rich people passing through that road? Why don't we also have the poor people being given that platform and that ground also to use the bridge? Let's all think about ourselves. Let us not only think about those who drive, private cars and those who are moving with people's cars in the vehicles that are meant for public, transport, using the bridge that seems to be causing a lot of problems for the people. And so I believe that the government of the Republic of Uganda will be able to look into that. The other time when Pakwash Bridge was cut off because of flooding, Ministry of Tourism together with Ministry of Works, they had to reach an agreement to see how people can really use a para bridge. I understand that we are looking for money to run the economy, but also let us put at the back of our mind that we cannot continue looking for money when the people who are supposed to get this money are not safe. And so let's continue to promote equality, equity in whatever thing that we do, not only considering some few individuals to be using the nice bridge there. Let other people also have the feel. Let people appreciate. If you don't allow the poor people to use the bridge, they will never appreciate what government of the Republic of Uganda is doing. They will just continue to see on pictures. Even me, I've never used that road because I am one of those who can afford to pay what they want the people to pay. And so I believe that discussions will be done. As that bridge will be worked on, they will be able to open para bridge for other users also to really use right there. And so away from that, you have to know that political leaders and well-wishers in West Nile pledged to intensify blood donation and awareness to save lives in the region at the blood donation drive campaign teamed Give Blood, Save Life and Share Often, that took place on the 20th June 2023 at the former market next to the office of the Prime Minister ground here in Arua City. Let's have more on that report.
Political leaders and well-wishers in the West Nile region have pledged to intensify blood donation and awareness campaign to save lives in the region. This year's celebration, which is themed Give Blood, Save Life and Share Often, has been held on Tuesday the 20th of June 2023 at OPM grounds in Arua City. Red Cross Project Officer for Fast Aid and Blood Donor Recruitment Stella Ajore Katan thanked blood donors in the West Nile for donating blood to save lives, but urged more people in the region to embrace and consistent with it.
Today particularly, we are here, and this function is facilitated by the HP1 project, funded by Belgian Red Cross Flanders. This core activity of the National Society, Blood Donor Recruitment, has been able to attract funders. Besides the Ministry of Health, besides our partners, UBTS, we also attract funds from partner national societies. By partner national societies, we mean Red Cross societies which are outside. We have Belgium, we have Austria, we have Germans. So this particular HP1 project is funded by Belgian Red Cross, and they support blood donor recruitment. So today, ideally, they facilitated the World Blood Donor Day celebrations in Arua, and that's the reason we are here. It is through giving blood that we shall be able to what? Save lives. So the thing is, give blood, share life, and let's share it often. Because even when you give blood today, that blood won't be there 2 months from now. It has an expiry date. That is when we should give blood often.
Fred Ouma Okumu, the Red Cross branch manager for West Nile region, rallied the public to get registered with Uganda Red Cross Society by paying a membership fee of 5,000 shillings each.
Our dear guests of honor, sir, we have here members who have donated 50 times or plus. We have certificates that we shall request you, together with the Madam Sir, that we award them certificates. It's a kind of appreciation that we can give them. We don't have any factory that manufactures blood, but because they are willing and they have been giving us blood, that's why the institution said we must at least give them a certificate. Uganda Red Cross Society is a membership institution. I request members that we pay membership only 50,000 plus 3 passport photos. So we request that you act as our ambassador, that every time you also preach this gospel and recruit. So we are looking at one by one, you recruit and the other one also recruits.
The program manager for blood donor recruitment, Sarah Mutagombwa, who represented the Secretary General for Uganda Red Cross Society, Robert Kwenziga, applauded the blood donors who testified to have willingly donated blood at the age of 16 years and many others who risked their lives to donate blood to save lives of others.
Please join me to give a loud of applause. Clap your hands. Clap as long as you can. And let it go. Let it go as we say thank you. Thank you so much for thanking these people. Sometimes I become so passionate about blood donors. I've been fortunate that I once donated blood. Somebody has just told his story when he donated when he was 16 and he has to tell a lie. And I was touched. To some other people, donating blood is death. So I was looking at a 16-year-old who really did fear death, and he wanted to say, let me donate much as I'm underage. And that is the passion that drives blood donors. Most of you have never received blood, but why do you continue to donate blood? It's because of the passion that you want to save a life. The doctor has said to them, I have done what I should have done, and the rest is you need a hint of blood. So the doctor has no alternative. He cannot give water, he cannot give Panadol, but this patient needs blood. And there's what we call the 30 golden minutes. For you to be alive, between life and death, you have 30 golden minutes. If you don't receive blood in those 30 minutes, you are dead. It's so unfortunate that so many people have lost their lives, and yet all of us have blood. So that's why we celebrate this day for those people that have sacrificed, that have given life, that have donated blood to save life.
Our District LC5 Chairperson Honorable Alfred Okonzi, who was also the guest of honor at the ceremony, appealed to the general public to donate more blood to cater for other risks and pledged total support from the District Council by inviting Red Cross officials to make presentations on blood donation in the next council sitting.
This day. Ladies and gentlemen, we need blood. We need blood in this region. As you have heard, we are in short supply of blood. We need more than 30,000 units, but we are only able to raise 14 units. Where do we expect the difference to come from? We don't have to survive on some other people's blood. We need our own blood to save lives in our region here. Now we know that teenage mothers, the need for blood is very, very high amongst them. Why? Because they are conceiving when they are still young, and then they do not deliver under supervised care. Most of the deliveries are in the villages, and some even go as far as inducing abortions. And all this need what? Blood. I want to be the game changer. A rural district must be number one in blood donation. From today, all your programs of donation, blood donation, give them to me. I will follow you up. If I am busy, I will tell my councillors to support you.
The statistic of last year's 2022 showed that West Nile region donated only 14,000 units of blood out of the required standard of 35 units per year, making it one of the poor regions in Uganda in terms of blood donation. Osuta Yusuf and Okumuringa Christine, Nilecast.
All right, dear viewer, thank you very much for being with us. 4 minutes past over 8 a.m. right on Westnile Television. We still have more local stories for you this morning. Over 20 health workers in Arua City attained training on investigating sexual offense and how to use the sexual assault kit. A training organized by MEMPRO and partners under the Monitoring and Empowerment Program. Emmanuel Agele reports.
In order to accelerate progress in building and creating safe communities for the young women, for the prevention of sexual gender-based violence, and to also ensure the households live harmoniously, MEMPRO, with its partners under the Monitoring and Empowerment Program, has trained health workers in Arua City on how a sexual offense is being investigated and how to use the sexual assault evidence kit. Paparo Caroline, the program manager, says they are committed to protecting and fighting against the abuse of human rights, children's rights and women's rights.
From the previous CFA1 program, we noticed that the health sector, we had left them out with the assumption that they knew what they were doing, which they do, and that they were able to support survivors when we came to the health facilities. But when we did our assessments, we got to understand that there is a gap and a disconnect across the board. So we decided to bring them in so that they are able to fill in some of the gaps, but also connect with the different stakeholders so that we're able to have a strong and firm referral system from the grassroots to the district level, that the survivors are able to access justice once a case has come to light. Now, in as much as the health personnel are very key in the referral pathway, we understood that those at the grassroots level, the VHTs, maybe those at the sub-county, rather parish level, may not have understanding of some technicalities around the connection of their work and human rights, defending of human rights and protection of women and girls from abuse. And so this training is important for them, but also for those who know to revise what they know, but also to help those that do not know understand what are the cultural norms and the religious practices that perpetuate violence that we have seen in our communities and treated as normal. And yet in our place or in our capacity as different office holders, we are able to use our positions to protect these girls and boys from abuse.
ASP Dr. Madrama Charles, the regional police surgeon who trained health workers, states that despite the decline in sexual gender-based violence cases in Arua City, it is very vital health workers are equipped with such skills.
In this particular day, I've been called by NEMPRO to come and demonstrate how a sexual offense is being investigated. So I came with a kit, sexual assault evidence kit, which I demonstrated why it is important to collect those evidences from survivors as well as perpetrators. The kit has got a lot of equipment which is geared to correctly selecting specific pieces of evidence that can be adduced before courts of law. After having collected this evidence from the survivors, you are supposed to compile the information that you have collected on a police form 3. Thereafter, you give it back to the police for onward compilation of evidence. Then thereafter, the case file is taken to the courts of law. When there is time for witness summons come, then we always go and testify. So that is briefly what I can say about GBV in particular. And as I talk, in the last few months, cases of GBV has scaled down, because I used to see more than 20 cases per month. And that doesn't mean that I'm the only person seeing cases of GBV. All health facilities here in the district or in the region, or in the city in particular, are also seen by Arua Regional Hospital, Oringi Denis Center, Gadam, Atumi, Paju, and several other health workers. But for me, I've been sent by the Internal Affairs to come and oversee the medical legal cases in the region.
Some of the health workers trained share their experience on how this training is going to help them to get a concrete evidence that can be used in courts of law.
What we have learned from the training here has really made us to know that what we are going to do shall even help the community. We are going to even sensitize the community about what's supposed to be done, what happens when such things happen. That's when they want to report to us, and then we say where to go, and then what to do to that. I think there's a lot which we are going to do in the community.
The non-governmental organizations, they are helping us as the local government, as we don't have enough resources. They are really doing what the local governments are supposed to do. So such trainings, if we have the knowledge, we can help. Sometimes previously we've been using crude ways of handling things. Now that we have got a new skill of handling, friendly ways of handling issues, that will help us to improve on our skills of work, doing the work in the community.
According to reports, some of the unregistered human rights and sexual gender-based violence cases are attributed to cultural and religious practices that need mindset change and a concerted effort from every stakeholder. Emmanuel Agele, Westnile TV Nilecast.
Away from Arua City to Zumbo District, persons living with disabilities in Zumbo District are demanding for the whereabouts of 10% of the parish development model, equivalent to 10 million Uganda shillings. According to them, only 2 of their members got the PDM fund out of over 400 persons with disabilities who registered for the parish development fund. Alfred Jawoko reports.
Persons living with disabilities in Zombo district have renewed their calls about the whereabouts of 10%, an equivalent of 10 million shillings for parish development model funds meant for them. According to them, only 2 of their members got the PDM fund out of 400 registered members. Geoffrey Aliana, the councillor representing persons with disabilities in Zombo district, has said several of their members who have applied for the PDM funds did not benefit from the program.
They are not fitting in the government program, especially PDM. PDM in the whole district, we find that many PWDs are not given the chance of getting PDM. I don't know why. Where are they taking the money? 10% is strictly for people with disabilities. So I'm requesting the authorities concerned to intervene quickly, especially the parish chairperson. In all parishes in the district, there is 10% for PWDs. So I'm requesting the authorities concerned to intervene. I'm happy for PWDs in Zombo district, especially 11 groups benefited from special grant, totaling about 50 million. That is very good. So we are requesting for PDM also, PWDs also to benefit.
Lydia Okelo, female councillor for people with disabilities in Paidatan Council Zombo district, also said their members were frustrated by the district leaders and appealed to the leaders to ensure their members benefit from government programs.
The challenge with the person with disability, we are getting challenges in whenever any government program enters, you get the strong people, they normally trying to disturb us by not involving person with disability in the activities. So we are pleading to the government that whenever there is a program for the government is giving, they should make sure that a person with disability should be also included, or person with disability should they should separate their whatever they are, what the government want to give to them.
Zombo District Production Officer Dr. Walter Komakech said at least most of people living with disabilities have benefited from special grant, and the district is working to engage every special interest groups to benefit from the money. Komakech lauded the government and development partners for giving them support, but urged the beneficiaries to use the funds well.
Into accessing this money is through the enterprise groups. There are those enterprise groups that were formed and registered for each and every parish. And the people who are accessing this parish development, the parish revolving fund on a loan basis are members of registered enterprise groups. Now, in each parish, at the time of doing the desk and the field appraisal, they look at the money that has come, for example, 25 million. Then out of that 25 million, they say, yes, 10% of 25, that is about 2.5 million. This one should be ring-fenced for the people with disability. Now, they again go ahead and look through the applications, the expressions of interest that have come from various individuals who are tapped from the enterprise groups. And now, should they find that among these people, there are some PWDs. They look at the money that these people are requesting for as per their business plan, and they give them priority. But if it so happens that, yes, out of these 25 million, there is no person who has applied for the money as a PWD, the money must not sit on account. The people who have expressed interest, be it the youth, be it the women, we give out the money. But we keep encouraging that, yes, you as the youth, you as the PWDs, please keep applying for this money so that you also get your slot. That is actually in our district. people should not be complaining. The people that you see complaining are those who to be part of the enterprise. Some when we went to them in the villages, they never accepted to join. They waited until they started seeing that indeed money has started coming. That was when they came on board. But we are telling them, no, you will have to wait, because we are going to serve the groups that have so far been registered. Once we have covered them, then we shall open up for enrollment of more groups and more members.
Zombo district has over 500 persons living with disabilities, and only 10 members are benefiting from the funds. The Parish Development Model Initiative was launched on 26 February 2022 in the Eastern District of Chibuku by the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. It was a strategy to improve service delivery and to alleviate poverty at the grassroots level. Alfred Jawoko, Westnile TV, Nilecast.
All right, thank you very much, Alfred Jawoko, for that report. And this is about the PDM. And I believe that all those that have been, put as one of as beneficiaries benefiting from the parish development model, we shall be able to begin following up the stories about the parish development model in all the districts that we have in Western Sub-region right here. It is important to fast track the implementation of government programs in this country for us to get to understand how government is really, implementing these projects. It's good to launch, and it's good always to organize for functions, and we talk about the government programs, but after organizing the function, what happens? Do we do the follow-up and find out how people are really benefiting from these programs? These are certain things that we need to be doing right there. Let's get to Yumbe District, where stakeholders in West Nile are demanding for urgent attention towards the implementation of electoral law reforms in order for the country to have peaceful election come 2026. Among the key issues in agenda that the stakeholders, including representatives of political parties, civil society organizations, religious leaders, youth, elders, women, and others want addressed before the next general elections during a consultative electoral law review in Yumbe District include putting an end to monetization of politics, reinstating back age limit to avoid jokers in elective leadership positions, increasing education qualifications for politicians at all levels, and considering political science or law a must for a person standing as the President of the Republic of Uganda. Frederick Dramadri attended the consultative electoral reform meeting, and he reports.
After every 5 years, millions of Ugandans devote their time to go and cast their votes in order to elect their leaders. This is politically described as a democratic process to give a fair room of trust among the electorates. But to the contrary, most of the candidates, after receiving their results, ran to court in order to petition the outcome of the elections, implying that most of the candidates are often not satisfied with whatever they have received, based on their mindset, their assessment, and what has transpired in their eyes. Now, the stakeholders in West Nile are demanding for urgent attention towards the implementation of the electoral law reforms in order for the country to have a peaceful general elections come 2026.
You can't do this place manual. For me, I'm in Kampala. I am coming to vote in Yumbe. You expect me to travel there only to come and check on the display form that my name is there. Why can't we do things online?
Year in, year out, the opposition, the candidates are always getting less than 5% of the presidential election results. Electoral Commission should convince the country. What happens to the new generation that always becomes 18 after 5 years?
We have requested for independence, but we don't know our body to independence.
Our will to change, to accept these proposals is not there.
The Ugandan Constitution 1995 has been amended, as you know, many times. So the Constitution has lost that originality. The people who intended that Constitution for us, there was a purpose for it. But this
this constitution has been manipulated. We change goalposts here and there. That's why there is cry everywhere.
Because people are not happy because government, electoral commission, and the others have failed totally.
I think the electoral commission this time around has to take it up and it has to act. Because sincerely we have been provoked enough, intimidated enough, hidden enough. Except that most of these things don't come out public.
Among some of the key priority areas, the stakeholders, including representatives of the political parties, civil society organizations, religious leaders, youths, elders, women, among others, have fronted from Westnile region to the attention of the Ugandan government to take a serious note, include monetization of politics, reinstating back age limit to avoid jokers, increasing education qualification of politicians at all levels, while a master holder of a political science or law for presidential candidates in order for the country to have an able leadership. Antua Martin Drani, a parliamentary aspirant in Terego district during the recently concluded elections on Alliance for National Transformation ANT ticket, says for a peaceful country, there must be the will to account to the citizens.
If we have a good electoral system, you don't require these things.
Meanwhile, Oringi Moses Wandoga, the programs manager, Westnile Civil Society Network, a non-governmental organization spearheading consultations on the electoral reforms in Westnile region, defends that it is very prudent enough for the country to review the trends of elections in Uganda in order to raise hope among the electorates. He says most of the elections in Uganda have witnessed a responsibility of stakeholders in the electoral processes.
So we are here to see issues around political violence, electoral violence, issues around voter apathy, issues around limited citizens' participation during election, issues around monetization of election.
During the recently concluded 2021 general elections in Uganda, out of over 18,000 voters who had registered to cast their votes, about 10 million Ugandans turned out, indicating a dwindling will among the voters in Uganda to elect the leaders. Frederick Dramadri, Westnile TV, Nile.
All right, thank you very much, Frederick Dramadri, for that report, and we really appreciate you very much for that coverage that you have given in regards to the constitutional, political, and electoral reforms that need to be adopted here in our country, Uganda. This is not the first time that we are discussing the issues to do with the electoral reforms in our country, Uganda. You can remember what happened in 2016 after Amama Mbabazi challenged the election outcome of the 2016 general election, where he challenged the declaration of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni as the President of the Republic of Uganda. And after that, the constitutional, the Supreme Court of this country sat and came out with some reforms that were supposed to be adopted before even organizing the 2021 election. But what happened were those reforms that were really proposed by the Supreme Court of this country put into use? These are questions that we continue to ask government of the Republic of Uganda. Is government having goodwill to have the electoral reforms in this country? And that question remains open for each and every person can contribute. You can go to my social media platform, that is the tweet handle, there is Oringi Francis 11, and that is the Twitter handle, and then you will be able to get Oringi Denis right there. Let's continue with the conversation. You can drop in your comments, and you can also go to the comments box of Westnile Television social media platforms, and that is Facebook and YouTube, and I will be able also to sample them right there. Let's continue with the conversation of shaping the future of this country. And remember, 2026 is coming, and how prepared are we to have free and fair election here? Much as the people in the NRM government always say that elections organized in this country are always free and fair, but the opposition will continue to really say that elections in this country have never been free and fair. And remember, the Uyam North is going for a poll, and people are also having conversation, how can we have free and fair election in Uyam North as they prepare to have somebody to replace the slain, that is Charles Engolo, who who passed on after he was gunned down by his bodyguard right there. And so let's get to issues to do with the farming here in West Nile. You have to know that farmers in West Nile region have been called upon to adopt new methods of farming, such as irrigation system, in order to beat the unreliable nature of rainfall. Dr. Gordon urges farmers to put the parish development board of funds to proper use, but also put the extension workers to task so as to get proper knowledge of what technology to use. Farish Majid reports more.
The farmers in West Nile sub-region have been called upon to adopt new methods of farming such as irrigation system in order to beat the unreliable nature of rainfall. This call was made by Dr. Gordon Victor, the Arua District Production Officer, in his office earlier today. Dr. Gordon appealed to the farmers to embrace technology so as to beat the unreliable nature of the rainfall pattern in the region.
Those who are planting on hilly areas, let them take into these technologies, sustainable land management. If you are digging on a slope, it is good to have trenches, or you can have stone banks or grasses so that the intensity of rain is reduced. And these trenches also help you to retain water in the soil. We have these technologies called Fanya Chin, Fanya Ju, where you create a maybe 1 foot ditch. When this rainwater remains there, it will infiltrate into the soil. And maybe if there is no rain for the next 2 weeks, this plant will still get what? Then
Dr. Gordon also urged the farmers to put the parish development funds into proper use by putting the extension workers to task so as to get proper knowledge of what technology to use exactly.
And currently, every parish has 50 million. All the parishes, minimum 50 million. So the next thing is people should plan. We have government extension workers. We have private extension workers there. We have the NGOs. These are people you need to consult to help you in the planning, because under PDM, when you are applying for that loan, you actually prepare a business plan. And that business plan goes through all activities which you are going to do. And if you are able to follow, I'm sure you are going to change. And the president directive is you should use this money as much as possible for 24 months, 2 years, before you can repay. If you are on the agricultural production, maybe only those who are doing produce buying and selling. So 2 years, if you use such money very well, advice from agricultural extension people, input dealers. When you go and buy your crop, ask that input dealer, how long would it going to take? When do I start weeding, and so on. So the knowledge is there. So let people just wait for an extension worker to come. You demand for it.
Farish Majid, Westnile TV, Nalkas.
Thank you very much, Farish Majid, for that report. Let's have the last story this morning. The body of late Supreme Court Justice Arash Amoko yesterday arrived at Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, where the body was received by the Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, Right Honorable Anita Bong. The members of Parliament paid their respect to the deceased, who served for decades in the judicial circles. Supreme Court Justice late Mary Stella Arash Amoko passed away at the age of 69 years at Nakasero Hospital on 17th of June 2023 right there. May her soul rest in eternal peace, and I have been told that her burial will be over the weekend on Saturday here in West Nile, in Nebi. And so we pray for safe journey and journey masses right back home here in Nebi. And so we continue to pray for the souls of the departed one, that may the good Lord forgive them and grant them eternal rest. And we always say, eternal rest grant unto her, and let the perpetual light shine upon her. A very good morning to you. Thank you very much, dear viewer, for being with me up to this particular time. And you have to know that 28 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we will be diving into what we have in the dailies this morning, the Daily Monitor and the New Vision. What are some of the stories that are really shaping the agenda in our country, Uganda? My name is Denis Oringi, and it is KOKOLIRIKO Live on Westnile Television. Good morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
You have another 26 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Let me dive into what we have in the dailies this morning, the Daily Monitor and the New Vision. Starting from the Daily Monitor, you have to know that journalists have been trained on how they can really debunk fake news here in our country, Uganda. As journalists, we should always be very, very careful with the kind of information that we share. How do you verify that this information is fake and this information is genuine? And so some journalists have been trained on how to debunk fake news right there. And you have to know that members of parliament yesterday eulogized Arash Amoko for merit-driven judicial service right there. And what have they said about the slain Supreme Judge Mary Stella Arash Amoko? You have to know that a somber mood hung in Parliament yesterday as legislators assembled for a special sitting to pay tribute to the late Justice Stella Arash Amoko of the Supreme Court. Members of Parliament broke down into tears, exchanged tight embraces and spoke moving eulogies for the former Justice of the Supreme Court, whose coffin containing her body lay in the House chamber. It all made sense, as she had also been a dear friend to some of the legislators. And so the unbearable loss of Arash Amoko, who passed away at Nakasero Hospital last Saturday at the age of 69, was evidently seen in the dejected faces of her close family members, who similarly attended the sitting to follow the proceedings. And some of the immediate family members in attendance were her husband, children, and siblings. And shortly after the laying of wreath during the initial stages of the sitting, emotion was moved by Prime Minister Robin Anabanja for a resolution to pay tribute to Arash Amoko. Our motion was seconded by the legislators, including the opposition chief whip, John Baptist Nabeshe, who represented the leader of opposition in Parliament, Matthias Mpuga, who was away concluding oversight tours around the country. And Speaker of Parliament Annetta Mong gave insight into her personal relationship with Arash Amoko. And Arash Amoko joined the judiciary in 1997 and served in various capacities, including as Justice of the Supreme Court, a position she attained in 2013 and served in until the time of her recent death. And speaking to her motion, Nabanja praised Arash Amoko for being an extraordinary icon of justice who was instrumental in mainstreaming alternative dispute resolution and mechanisms in the judiciary and being a mentor to judicial officers. And Nabeshi, on his part, asked the government to honor Arash Amoko's legacy. Quoting from Nabeshi, verbatim, he says, "I urge the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs to address the structural challenges at the Law Development Center by building on the previous efforts of the late Arash. These will enable us to holistically transform the training of bar course students in the country." Arash was reportedly trying to address several challenges at the Law Development Center to transform the legal transformation in the country. Additional tributes came from the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao. He said Arash Amoko had the personal attributes of a great judge. Quoting him verbatim, he says, "In the training of judges, there are characteristics that are outlined befitting a member of the bench. A judge should be studious, courteous, conscientious, patient, punctual, just, impartial, fearless of public praise, clamor, and indifferent to private political or partisan influences. He or she should administer justice according to the law and deal with his or her office as a public trust." And so he added, "Madam Speaker, listen to the tributes being paid today and hope that the family is paying attention. You would see that Justice Stella Arash Amoko exemplified all these attributes." Brenda Nabokenya believed that she would one day become either a Deputy Chief Justice or Chief Justice because all her work spoke of quality, decorum, justice. Anna Adeke Ebaju, the woman member of Parliament for Soroti City, said she hardly had the complaints about Arash Amoko from other lawyers and wished they would all follow her example. Abudu Katuntu Bugweri, member of Parliament, remembered Arash Amoko for her extraordinary character, and quoting him verbatim, he says, "All lawyers who appeared before Justice Stella Arash Amoko will tell you the story very calm, meticulous, and amiable. Sometimes judges can be bullies, and those who have appeared in court, you know she isn't one of them." Amidst the moving eulogies among us, a rhetorical question of whether legislators had even checked on Arash Amoko during her stay at the hospital. And since the body was yesterday staying overnight to lie in state, Parliament among said it served as an opportunity for those claiming to have loved Arash Amoko to pitch camp at Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. And so it is not yet conclusively known whether she will be buried in a Jumani district as earlier planned following a recent clash between the government and the cultural leaders over her final burial site. Utility, who was Lady Justice Stella Arash Amoko, is what you need to know this morning. Stella Arash Amoko served as the Justice of the Supreme Court. She held the position from 2013 until her death at Nakasero Hospital. She was 69 years old, a year shy of the mandatory retirement age. And she joined the judiciary in 1997 as a High Court judge and was elevated to Justice of the Court of Appeal in 2010. Termed a champion of justice, Arash Amoko is hailed for her professionalism and integrity during her previous service in the judiciary. At the personal level, as Denis Oringi, I can remember sharing a conch with her, meaning sharing a microphone with her during one of the burials that I was able to MC here in Arua. And she was a kind person, a person that you can really approach and you can speak to. We have lost a great person as Westnile region, as the people of Greater Allur region. And so we continue to pray for our soul to rest in eternal peace, as we all know that we are on the journey to our eternity. And if you are living with any person, you should be mindful of that this world is just temporary for us. We are just here for a short period of time. The rest of our time we shall be able to spend where God will say that we should go and spend. I do not know whether hell or heaven. And for those who will be going to heaven, we wish them well. While for those who are going to hell, we pray that you repent before you get to hell, so that God can really forgive you. And as we are still alive, let's continue to pray for those who are still in the purgatory, as the Catholics always say, that may the good Lord forgive them and open for them doors of heavens, so that they can join the rest in singing glory and praises to Him. While for those who have gone to be with the Lord, remember us who are still alive, that please, we need you to pray for us, so that we can really triumph over the temptations that are of this world, that one day we shall also join you in singing praises to the Almighty who has created us. And if you're staying with a colleague, think about forgiveness, because that is the way to go. Let not look at what we have as possession. These are worldly things, will never take us anywhere. But what we should really take as a serious matter is love for one another. There's nothing beyond love. What is so important in life is living peacefully with your colleague, with your friend, regardless of what happens in life. But remember to always forgive, so that you have another day to live. If you think I am lying, try hating a friend, and you will know that this world will become very small for you. And that's what I can really say. May our soul rest in eternal peace, and we shall keep you updated on where exactly she will be buried right here on Westnile Television. And let's get to more stories we have for you this morning from the Daily Monitor. You have to know that the Speaker directs Nabanja to report to Parliament on intern doctors, and yesterday some intern doctors took to the street of Kampala protesting delay by the government to deploy them to different government hospitals that we have in this country, Uganda. Only 7 of those who were protesting were allowed to go and meet the Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda and present their petition. Now the Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda has directed the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Right Honorable Robin Nabanja, to report to Parliament on intern doctors. And so the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Netamong, has directed the Prime Minister Robin Nabanja to push the relevant government authorities to implement pledges made to settle the President's demands of the intern doctors in the country. In a specific directive issued to Nabanja minutes before a special sitting scheduled to pay tribute to Lady Justice Stella Rashamoko, the Prime Minister to fast-track pledges government officials made during the budget reading on June 15th. Quoting her verbatim, saying the Prime Minister during the budget day, government promised to address crisis of interns, kindly make a follow-up and ensure that the 1,900 interns are deployed and are paid. And so she added, we will be very grateful to receive a report from you on the payment of the interns and deployment of these interns. After the 1,900 are paid, there is an accumulation of 4,000 interns yet to be deployed and to be paid. This would help us legislators to plan better on how much money should always be given to, so that they can be able to save lives. Considering that plenary sitting was committed to paying tribute to late Arash Amoko, Nabanja did not, however, respond. Neither did other legislators in Parliament react on the same. A section of medical interns led by the former president of Uganda Medical Association, Dr. Ekwaru Obuku, delivered a petition to the Speaker before she presided over the special sitting to honor late Justice Stella Arash Amoko. Among assured the leadership of the intern doctors in the country that the Parliament would use its power to ensure that the concerns and pains of the medical fraternity are ably settled. In May, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni directed the Minister of Finance not to scrap the payments of the medical interns. Prior to this, medical interns had held repeated series of protests due to, among other reasons, their delayed deployment as a requirement before completing their course to practice without supervision. Since then, there have been recurrent pleas from the medical fraternity and other persons in the country demanding that the government heeds to the prayers of the interns. And so we pray that through the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, the cry of the interns would be listened by the government of the Republic of Uganda, is what we need to bring to your attention. Uganda has annual deficits of, that is 150,000 units of blood, is also what you need to know. Then on the Kasese attack, father of detained TikToker speaks out, is what you need to know, that there's a gentleman who is a TikToker. He took to his TikTok and he started commenting about what happened in Kasese. Little did he know that he's really surviving in a very small country, that the intelligence network is well connected, and the government of the Republic of Uganda having sophisticated, gadgets to detect crime and also arrest those that are at the verge of committing crime. And so the father of the TikToker came out to speak. And so that's what you need to know in regards to the arrest of the TikToker who made a statement in regards to what happened in Kasose. And then Rengo schools want oversending learners to valley dams is also what you need to know right there. Then Agago locals are flee homes as Karamojong Rastola's mission is just to kill. And what is happening in Karamoja? Why is the government of the Republic of Uganda is really, getting defeated by these Karamojong Rastolas? What is the problem? Is it a problem understanding how they come? Even if they're wizards, they would be, detected. If we know that this is their entry point, and this is not the first time that the people of Agago have been complaining about the cattle rustlers, why can't the government take a very, very good initiative and strategy to get rid of this cattle rustling? Unless maybe they're telling us it's the kind of a game that is being played. Because why should we continue to have the same group of people disturbing the peace of those that are living to the extreme of this region called Karamoja? And we continue to have these people continue to carry out cattle rustling. I think we need to get something. If the UPDF that defeated LRA in northern Uganda can also do the same in defeating the Karamojong, that will be a good one. Much as, they're trying their level best to see that they defeat these Karamojong cattle rustlers. And then what is the problem? Is it the shape of the operation that is not all that well? So I think Uganda People's Defense Forces need to sit down and discuss. How can we get rid of that? If the guns are coming from Turkana area, how can we seal off that area so that the guns cannot come in? Unless there are people who are trying to also do some kind of business amidst the state of Kwagamaya that we have in Karamoja and also part of Acholi sub-region. And so I believe that the government of the Republic of Uganda should really, come out with a divisive means to end this cattle rustling. What is it that cannot be ended? If the same government was able to defeat the rebels who wanted to terrorize the people of Zombo, why is it is very hard to get rid of the cattle rustling in Karamoja? And these are some of the things that I put it as food for thought to those that are commanding the operations in Karamoja. It's important that we need to get rid of this and we put it to end. What is it that cannot be put to end? If LRA was put to end with their atrocities and their operations in northern Uganda, why not to put to end cattle rustling in Karamoja sub-region? Very simple. Just have to change the tactics of operation and you will see things getting done in the right way. So we wish them well in their struggle to pacify that is Karamoja region right there. 3 abducted students' return is also another good news for the parents. And I think yesterday the residents of Kasese, they jubilated upon the return of the 3 students who were abducted during the operation that was conducted by the suspected ADF rebels who have believed to have come from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Uganda Democratic Republic of Congo agree on continued cooperation, and that's according to Major General Birungi. Is what you need to know that the Chief of Military Intelligence, Major General James Birungi, has applauded the existing bilateral relationship between Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo. He said this would continue to grow to meet the aspirations of the 2 countries' citizens. Major General Birungi made the remarks during an exchange meeting with a delegation from the Armed Forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo, where they discussed mutual security interest at the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs headquarters in Kampala. He underscored the importance of the meeting, which he said comes at a time when the 2 countries are faced with serious security challenges ranging from terrorism, transnational and cross-border crime to humanitarian crisis. Major General Birungi added that the recommendations from the meeting will guide the strategic leadership of both countries to come up with workable solutions that address the common security challenges faced by Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo. And in his remark, the intelligence chief of the Armed Forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Major General Daniel Christian Okura, said that the problems of Africa can only be solved by Africans themselves, adding that the dynamic strength between Uganda and the DRC will play a very critical role towards addressing the security needs in the region. The meeting came 3 days after Uganda was attacked by suspected ADF rebels that killed 41 students at the Lubriha Secondary School in Pondwe, Kasese district. Made the souls of those who were slaughtered in that attack rest in eternal peace right there. Dear viewer, let's go for a break, and when we come back, we'll be diving into what we have in the news vision this morning before we get to some of the top stories in the world of sports on Westnile Television. It is KOKOLIRIKO Live. Good morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, we'll be back. Thank you very much for joining us, dear viewer. We do appreciate you very much, and you have to know that 7 minutes at the top of the hour, that is 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Let's get to the new vision. You have to know that 2 arrested over Bukalatha land office, break-in is a story that has been captured in the new vision. And then the DPP receives the 42 vehicles from government. This is good news for the Directorate of Public Prosecution. They have been blessed with the 42 cars. These cars will really hate their work. And then also another thing, Karuma crash, trailer wreckage sighted 10 kilometers from the bridge is another information that has really cropped up, that the trailer wreckage has been sighted 10 kilometers away from the bridge is what you need to know. The soldiers guarding the bridge saw the trailer approach the bridge at high speed, losing control and hitting the rails before it plunged into the water. And so that is what you need to know. Renzori Fraternity mourns Kasese attack victims is also another story that has been captured in the new vision. And so you can get yourself a copy of the new vision and you have this story well read by you. And trends in homes and construction, gate and bulga proof. And for those who want to really get into the world of construction, you can also get yourself a copy of that story on how you can really improve your home and your construction site is what you need to know right there. And then the government has said that we are focused on external borrowing, and it's also another thing that you need to know, that government has come out clearly to say that we are focused on external borrowing. We are not borrowing anyhow, we are focused. So we are borrowing according to the priorities of the country. And so the people who are trying to blame the government for external borrowing, the government has come out to say that they are focused in this borrowing. So you should really allow them to borrow because they know what they're doing. And so let's get to the world news here. You have to know that a Brazil school shooter found dead in jail cell is also another story at the international level. And then women and girls hit hard by attack on health in Sudan is also another story at the international level. And then climate goals need a clean energy surge in global south is also another thing. And then Abaya controversy test French schools secular limits is what you can really get in the new vision concerning the issues to do with the world news right there for you. All right, dear viewer, 5 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Somebody has just hit my inbox saying that what is happening in the world of sports. Let me give you an update here in what is happening in the world of sports. You have to know here that Barcelona win race to sign Man City. Gundogan is the good news that is coming through, that Barcelona win race to sign Man City's Gundogan is a very big story that is really, spreading very fast like wildfire. Ilkay Gundogan has reportedly chosen to end his association with Manchester City in order to sign for Barcelona. The midfielder was Pep Guardiola's first signing in 2016, and he has since gone on to secure legendary status at the Etihad Stadium. And so Gundogan has collected 5 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 4 EFL caps and featured in the Champions League triumph over Inter Milan earlier this month. And so, however, in the month before taking his appearance tallied to 304, the Germany international's future has gone shrouded in uncertainty due to his contract expiry at the end of June. And so there have been times since the turn of the year where it has been claimed that an exit is more likely than extending his stay in Manchester City, and vis-a-vis during his that is a standing conclusion to the season. And so from the state of May onwards, the 32-year-old contributed 3 doubles, most notably in the FA Cup final as City defeated rivals Manchester United by a 2-1 scoreline. However, Barcelona, who are focused on securing the services of 3 agents this summer, have always been lacking in the background, with the option of handling Gundogan a fresh challenge. And so the reports claim that the Gundogan has agreed to pen a 2-year contract at the La Liga champions with the option for a further 12 months right there for you. And so that is what you need to know, that Barcelona win race to sign the Manchester City, that is Gundogan right there. And then Tottenham reached a verbal agreement for Empoli goalkeeper Guillermo, that is Vicario, is what you need to know. And then Southampton appoint Rachel Martin as new manager is also another good news that is coming through. And so Chelsea rejects second Manchester United bid for Mason Mount is also another story. While in the internationals play, you have to know that today Czech Republic under 21 will be taking on England under 21. And so for those who would be interested in watching the game will be at exactly 5 p.m. today. So you take note of that. And then Germany under 21 will be taking on Israel under 21, and the game will also be played at, that is 5 p.m. And Norway under 21 will be taking on Switzerland under 21, and the game will also be at 5 p.m. And these are the games that are going to be played today in regards to the international friendlies right there for you. And that's what you need to know right there. More of this will be coming your way at exactly, that is 2 to 3 with Fodibo Owen together with Lady Susie, not forgetting Benson in the team of the Whistle Time. They will be doing analysis of some of the local stories that we have right here in West Nile in regards to sports, and also knowing what is happening at the national level before diving into what are some of the stories that are making headlines at the international level in regards to sports. My name is Dennis Oringi, and allow me to thank you and appreciate you very much for being with us up to this particular time that I'm signing out of the studio. Catch me again tomorrow at the same time, the same television station, Westnile TV, and the same presenter, Dennis Oringi. And I have to tell you that I am here to always let you know that the world is changing, and you have to be among those that are changing with the world if you do not know. And for those who think that social media is not a good platform, and then you are losing it out when it comes to the issues of business right there. And for those who want to do their business with Westnile Television, we do still have the platform for you, and you'll be able to have your business covered right here on Westnile Television. If you want to sponsor KOKOLIRIKO Live, just get to the contacts that are scrolling on your screen, and we shall be able to have a conversation on how we can really promote ourselves in regards to media and communication. And so that is the way to go. And for those who want to embrace media and communication, you have to get the right people, the right person also to do for you that, because not each and every person is gifted with what happens in the world of media. Have the best of your morning. I'm out of here. It's exactly 9 a.m. on Westnile Television. Good morning.